All right, I see y'all on here. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Lovely J Podcast. I'm Miss Coco Bowden. Show is, I don't know why I'm trying to sound hoarse. Not today. But y'all, I got a great topic for us today. Those of us who are, we don't like going to doctors and we don't like receiving any kind of bad news, or we just don't. There's a number of people who just don't go to the doctors because they're scared out of fear of what the doctor may say. Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about. And that fear today we're talking about is of diabetes. Okay, let me get my stuff together. Now, y'all just know, I am in the process. Y'all know when I come on here, I be then got up and getting ready to cook something. So I'm cooking my lunch. That's what I'm doing, which is some leftovers. My daughter made the viral spaghetti that's on TikTok right now, and it was so good. I'm glad I can't eat that much, because if I would have still been eating the way I eat, I wouldn't have these leftovers. And it was so good to me last night when I got a plate. Y'all got to try it. I don't know what it's called except for the viral spaghetti on TikTok. That's all I know. All right, so my pot is acting stupid again. Welcome to my world where this thing works only when it want to work. And while we're waiting on it to do its thing. So let me tell y'all my story and my family history. Because these diagnoses, a lot of them are genetics. It's in our genes, okay? It's things that sometimes you can help and sometimes you can't help. The scary part is trying to determine which part you can and cannot help, because it all looks the same when you don't know exactly what it is that you're going through. But anyways, in my family, the history is diabetes, how y'all say sugar diabetes. That's what the older generation used to say. And cardiovascular, got some people had cancers, different types of cancers. Knowing your family history is so important, first of all. It's important to know because, whenever you do come across one of these health crises, you at least have some answers. And you can actually learn from those who have been through it. What did they do to help them? Because that's like my mama, which is my grandmother, really, my grandmother Cammie. She had uterine cancer back in the days, and that was in the early 70s that she had uterine cancer. And now my mom, my biological mom, has uterine cancer. Now let me tell you, what did my mother Cammie do to survive that uterine cancer back in the days? She had the hysterectomy. I know we're not talking about that, but this is just a good example. She had the hysterectomy. Now, what is my mom doing? My mom is taking the approach, I'm not going to take anything, just leave me like I am, and my faith has made me whole. And so far, that has worked for her. I ain't even going to lie. That has worked for her. So far, that has worked for her, and she's around 75 years old, and now she's to the point where it is really taking a bad effect on her body by not having treatment. And it's affecting everybody, because when one person doesn't get treatment, well, she's 72, y'all. I had to figure it up. When you don't get treatment, what it does is you think it's all about you, but it really does affect your whole family, because those who have to come in and care for you or try to care for you, if you don't get these diagnoses taken care of in time, you cause yourself more stress, more harm, more pain. you cause yourself to go down really quick when you could be living a life without all that suffering. Now, Grandma Cammie, which is my mom now, y'all, because she adopted me. And we'll talk about that, too, in a little bit, about the importance of adoption. But my Grandma Cammie is 95. That surgery saved her life. You hear me? 95 years old. If she had not had that surgery in the 70s for uterine cancer, she wouldn't be here, which means ain't no telling where I would have been. Because y'all know how foster homes and all that is. She wouldn't have been here. But 95 years old. She's a cancer survivor for that many years in the 70s. I'm 48, so you know she's been a survivor for, had to be well over 50-some years now. Maybe 60. I don't know. But I know she survived it because she trusted God with the decision to let the doctors go ahead and help her in that area. As though my mom is more like, okay, I'm still going to go this route. And she really, it's like playing a game of Russian roulette with her. Each time, you know, it looks like she's going out of here, and then she pulls back through. So, what is the benefit of that? I mean, that's, free will is one thing. Free will to make your own decisions is one thing. And it's another thing to have to sit back and watch a loved one suffer. Now, jumping on to the diabetes. That's just an example of why you should go to the doctors and should at least see, at least every 6 months or once a year, just to get that checkup to see what's going on with your body. Because diabetes, we thought that high blood pressure was a silent killer, but so is diabetes. Diabetes is a silent killer to those who don't know if they have it or if they're pre-diabetic. My doctor told me if you're pre-diabetic, you're diabetic. There is no such thing as being half pregnant. I am, but I'm not pregnant. There's no such thing as, so you would treat diabetes as if you were a diabetic. And that's how I have been living my life. Now, in my family, right now, my adopted dad, which was Mother Cammie's husband, Marshall, he had diabetes. He was diagnosed around 60 years old with diabetes. No, he might have been. No, I remember him being about 55. About 55 years old, he had diabetes. And he would get up faithfully. And I mean, this is a strong-headed man, and it's hard to tell him anything. That's how strong-minded he is. He just headstrong like that. But he humbled himself down to go to the doctor and get seen about. And when he did, you know, back in the days, they had these little strips, you know, you pee in a cup, and then the strip, if it turns a certain green, that meant you was diabetic. Well, he started out doing that at the store. I don't know who told him to do it, but he started out doing that. And then it got to a point where he was drinking yellow root. And yellow root was helping, but it was helping, but we didn't have the education that we have now about diabetes. Daddy was trying to walk, but his legs were just giving out. And I understand what that is now. I do. He went to the doctor and he got this diagnosis. Why did he go to the doctor? Well, didn't I tell you some things happen in families? Turns out his siblings were going through some of the same things. And they died in their 80s. And my daddy, they died in their 80s. My daddy was determined to outlive them. You know, get past 80s. But, and he did by some years. By about 6 or 7 years, he lived longer than they did. But the theme was diabetes, that turned into cardiovascular disease. That's what the main thing was. Because of the diabetes that ran in the family, the majority of them had cardiovascular disease. Now, my dad still has 2 siblings left, and they still are going through the same thing with the cardiovascular and diabetes. And I'm sending prayers out to my Aunt Vera because we just lost her grandson yesterday. So sending prayers all the way to New York and love, and I just pray God covers and hold the family, because we just was so happy seeing them on the Family Feud show this past summer, and now he's gone. I didn't get to know him like that, but I knew his daddy really good that used to come, and my daddy was fond of his daddy. So I knew him, and if he was anything like he was his daddy, he's a good man. So prayers go out to my family in New York. Okay, so this thing of diabetes ran in the family. Now, my dad had a fear, but after he talked to his siblings, that's what finally talked him into going on to see about himself. And don't nobody be trying to talk to y'all to scare y'all up, but sometimes we need the truth. And one thing I've learned is that we go to the church, and this is the reason why a lot of the people I know don't go to the doctors, is because the church has taught us that we don't need to take any further steps except for prayer. And that's not right. Some things will be healed by prayer. Some things our faith can just take hold of and turn it around just like that. But faith without works is dead. And sometimes that work means we need to go and see the doctor. And being scared to get diagnosed with something is the reason why so many people are still sick. Being in denial. Once you are diagnosed with something and then you're in denial, that's the same as, just not, you might as well not have went to go see about yourself if you weren't going to at least try the spirit by the spirit. Not being churchy, but that's what I did. I'm going to tell you my story. I went to the doctor, and doctor was telling me about these diabetes and things. Now, my sister had diabetes. Now, of course, just about everybody, my family big. I ain't gonna say big bone, but we all big. Ain't nobody under 200 pounds. Everybody up and up. Which, obesity is the leading thing to having diabetes. Obesity plays a part in that, and all of us obese, So I thought when my sister got diagnosed, I really didn't think nothing about it. I just thought, well, I got the high blood pressure side of things, and which I did. I've had high blood pressure since I was 15 years old, and I've been on medication since I was 15 for it, and but it's been managed. I've managed it the whole time. That was, through changing what I was eating. And I do light workouts. I've always done light workouts. So that helped a lot too. But when I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, I was in denial. Cause it was so many factors. I was like, no, that can't be me. And I just didn't really want to believe it. 2022, I started taking it serious. In 2020 and 2020, but it was 2022 when I really started taking it serious. When I started having blurred vision, lots of joint pain, let's see, arm pain. It just got where, considering the situation I'm going through too, it got to where I was doing a lot of stress eating and not exercising because of this leg pain, this knee pain, this hand pain. Everything was in pain in 2022. And I started using the machine. I said, well, let me start checking my blood sugars. And you can learn a lot just by doing some things at home. And I had this monitor that I started using. And come to find out, when I was eating, my sugar levels were going up. And the highest I've ever seen my sugar level was the highest that I ever seen, and it really scared me, was 243. I did not know that my levels were getting that high. I thought that I was, doing good in that area. But it was when I started taking those tests at home, I started saying, hey, this is a pattern. Something's not right. And then I started paying attention to what I was eating. Certain foods were raising it up, and it would just stay high throughout the day. And so I'd be tired and in pain. And I still was in, I still was in a little bit of denial. Excuse me, y'all. I don't know why I'm trying to yawn. I guess because this little thing feels good to me. But I still was in a bit of denial but I still was doing everything I was supposed to do. But I still was eating those junky foods, which was really messing my cells up and my blood vessels up. Let me tell you, diabetes does not come to be your friend. So if you walking around here with undiagnosed, untreated diabetes, you are running the risk of messing up your blood cells. And when you need your blood cells to fight for you, they're not going to be able to. Or either they may overfight when they don't need to fight. And if this thing would have been broken down a little bit more where people like me could understand it, I believe more people would get seen and treated for it. Because going untreated puts you at the risk of cardiovascular disease, which is what my biological dad died from. See, my biological daddy, he was an alcoholic. He loved his alcohol. He loved his beer. I mean, cases and cases of Budweisers when we were little kids and Winston packs of cigarettes. That was the thing. And that's what I grew up doing too. Once I got grown, I was drinking, cases and cases of Natural Light. That was my drink of Natural Light, Country Gentleman Gin, Seagram's Gin, Peach Vodka. That was my drinks of choice. Arbor Mist wine. What's the other one? I still take a sip of that every now and then when my stomach get really bad. What is it called? It's not Arbor, but it's Seagram's something. Seagram's wine. But alcohol was our thing. Alcohol and eating food. We ate out at restaurants. When we cooked, we had the fried chickens, the hamburgers, the hot dogs. Look, all that good food, the cakes, the pies, big Thanksgiving dinners, all of that is going somewhere and being stored in your body. And we didn't think about no diabetes when we were drinking. That's why we were drinking, so we wouldn't have to think about issues like that. And then when we get in the church told us, don't worry about it, God got it. So that was our reason not to do anything about it. And by the way, I don't knock nobody that, y'all know I love God. And God do got it. But we got to do what he says do too. We got to pay attention to how we say things, and God don't be said that. Anyways, get on down. He was an alcoholic and loved his food and loved his breads and sweets. So he walked around all these years untreated, undiagnosed diabetes. We finally found out he had diabetes when his kidneys shut down. He went into kidney failure. What a lot of people don't know is that diabetes can cause kidney failure. Now, if you know this, cool. But there's somebody out there that don't know this. Can cause kidney failure. It can cause all kind of neuropathies. Y'all, let me go into more detail. I can go into more detail whenever, let's see. There was so many signs there. One of the signs that was real noticeable was my daddy's breath. His breath, one day me and my sister was in the grocery store with him and we was all shopping. And he went to speak to us in the frozen food aisle. He spoke and he wasn't even really that close to us. But the smell of his breath came all the way down to where we was. And it just about knocked me out. And at that time, I was childish and petty. So I started laughing. And we were like, oh. And, we were picking at him about it. But, excuse me. But we didn't realize that was a health condition. That was a sign that something was not getting cleansed out. When you got healthy kidneys and healthy bowels, then you're cleaning out those toxins. When you get with someone and their mouth smells like just a sewer, maybe worse than a sewer, something inside of them is dead and is backing up. And is hurting the body. Well, that's what it was like. That was one of the first signs that we ignored. We laughed it off as him just not brushing his teeth. That's how we laughed it off. But that wasn't the case. Y'all, I don't know why I'm getting... I might need to drink some water. But we brushed it off as... just him having bad breath. That was it. It was times when he would say he had double vision and we would start laughing. Oh, I'll get you some glasses. And then when he would come in with the reading glasses on, we would laugh and pick at him. You see double now? Because we would be playing cards and he couldn't tell the difference between a red diamond and a red spade. Not a red spade, and a red heart. He couldn't tell the difference between a puppy toe and a spade. He couldn't see. But we laughed it off as, you done drunk too much. You done drunk too much for the day. Oh man, you gotta let that alcohol go. That's what we brushed it off of, not knowing that was a sign of diabetes. See, ignorance is what keeps people sick. When you don't know, and when you do find out and you don't spread the information to others, that's what keeps us in bondage. That's what takes lives. But when we spread this knowledge, it prevents so many complications and deaths that do not have to be. My dad died as a result of this. He came in that day. He wanted to have a big cookout for my brother who was coming home from prison. We did that. We celebrated. We drank alcohol. after alcohol. And by this time, my dad's been on dialysis for 10 years. Now, once he got on dialysis, by the way, y'all, he started taking his health serious. He did. Now, he didn't stop drinking completely, but he did cut back a lot. He started taking his health really serious, and my dad was not an educated man, but he started learning. I don't even think my dad graduated from high school, because my dad was raised on one of them farms, that's kind of like a plantation. So I don't think, I never heard him say he graduated. He felt bad because he didn't have the education that he wanted. That he was around others. Others had education, and he didn't. I think he may have got to maybe the 6th or 8th grade, something like that, middle school. But then he had to go work and help take care of the family. So he didn't have the education that many have. He partied with us, and we drunk. And to this day, I'm still mad at him because and I need to let it go. Because when we got through with the party for my brother and the cookout, we came back to my house and we drunk some more. And I put on the music, me and my sister playing music. And, we just all up in here dancing. And then all of a sudden he gets serious on us. He stands up in the middle of the floor and he says, I cross my heart to God. I love glory, which that is my mother's name, my biological mother's, her name. And he stood up and he crossed his hand to God and he was swearing and stuff, and he touched my TV that day. He said, I hope that God kill me if I'm lying. Now, to this day, I never know if he was lying or not. Because at the same time, earlier that day, he had went and took some labs. He was so happy about them labs, y'all. He learned how to read his lab work. And he was so happy about it because he always bring me suckles and he'll bring me his lab work and stuff to read over when he get it. And he said, look, my cholesterol down and everything. By the way, diabetes, it elevates your cholesterol too. He said, my cholesterol and all this is good. And we were so happy. So happy for him. And that was the first time I was just like, I was so excited for him, I didn't know what to do. Because it seemed like that was his first break in life. He had so many bad things happening and it seemed like he never could get ahead. And that was the one thing right there that he finally felt like he was in control of and did well by his health. Come to find out, the hospital lied. It wasn't the hospital, his doctor's office. Somebody in that laboratory, they lied. They called us the same day of the party we was having. And they said he need to get to the hospital. His cholesterol is 1,500. Do you know what a cholesterol of 1,500 will do to a person? It beats them vessels down. The heart, to survive that would have to be a miracle. Now, they said he could go within 2 to 3 days, as long as he got there. So my dad said, I'm going to finish out partying with, because my brother had to go back to wherever he was coming from, whatever halfway house or prison he was coming from. He had to go back. So he said, I'm going to go ahead and finish out partying with y'all, and then I'll go Monday to the doctor, to the hospital, and see what's going on. Monday, about 10 o'clock in the morning, my dad would call me, ask me, did I have some shoes for my sister? And he had even came over here and knocked on my bedroom door. And I said, no, I don't got none. Her foot way bigger than mine. And I never forget how he called my name when he knocked on the door. He was like this. Jamie. Like that. In a man's voice. That's how he called my name. And he must have been calling me for a while because I was knocked out back there. I had a hangover. A little bitty hangover. Not much. A little one. Because we had partied all weekend. And I had to get up, take my kids to the dentist later on that day. Anyways, he went right on back over there and he ended up giving my sister his shoes and he was doing fine. About an hour later, he was gone. They said it was from a massive heart attack. He died at home. By the time I got to him and they had him on the ambulance, he was already gone. I didn't get to say nothing. He was already gone. And it was too hard for me to go to the hospital. I couldn't even drive. I was destroyed. I couldn't even drive. I couldn't think about nothing. But my sister was brave enough. She went up there and signed off on the death certificate and things. But diabetes was behind all of that. The elevation of the cholesterol levels, the blood pressure, diabetes was the leading cause of that. Untreated or poorly managed diabetes. Diabetic complications. He was a type 2 at that time. And it caused him to, he left here prematurely, 52 years old. Young. I'm almost 50 and now I see why he had so much life in him, because really at the age we are, we just not really cranking up at this age. And for him to lose his that early, that's why I'm talking about this subject. Because you can do something. I can do something. I didn't realize the difference that those numbers made in me, despite knowing my daddy passed from it. But I didn't know the difference that it made in me until I got on the Mounjaro. Now, when I got on the Mounjaro and I started eating less, I started seeing things start healing, and my numbers were coming down less. And my numbers came down enough to where I have to have a snack around midnight before I go to bed so that my sugar doesn't drop too low. Because y'all have been on here when it has dropped low at some points. But let me just read y'all some of this right here. Untreated or poorly managed diabetes can lead to severe complications. And here are some potential diabetic complications. Short-term complications can be low blood sugar, high blood sugar, diabetic ketoacidosis, hyperglycemic syndrome, the ketotic, I can't pronounce it, and infections such as urinary tract or skin infections, and the long-term complications are heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, osteoporosis, hardening of the arteries, and peripheral artery disease. Now, I got tested for that. For all that just got named, I got tested for a lot of that about 2 years ago, because I started having complications in my legs and things with my blood vessels. And I did not realize that diabetics go through. I'm just thinking about what my parents went through. Even my adopted dad, Marshall, what he went through and why he kept moving. Now I see why he kept moving, because it hurts, it's painful, and it does take life from you. It takes the quality of life away from you. Y'all, I hear him out there. Y'all give me just a moment. Yeah, because it does take the quality of life from you. If you hear something, y'all, that would be the trash man is here. What in the world? What? Y'all, hold up. I'm pausing conversation for just a second. Y'all know I gotta watch. Let's see. I know y'all hear that noise, so that's what it is. Y'all hear that noise? It is loud. But I'm thankful for them guys, for real. I'm going to jump on topic. I just have to make sure that I get this done right. But okay, I'm back. So the pain in all of this is painful. And I didn't know it was neuropathy. And neuropathy is nothing but those nerves, those nerves getting tore up. Those nerves pressing down, and it does hurt. Okay, so going down to that, long-term complications, neuropathy, nerve damage, peripheral neuropathy, atomic neuropathy, and that's nerve damage affecting the organs right there. Diabetic atrophy, muscle weakness, neuropathy pain. Now, I have dealt with the muscle weakness and the neuropathy pain, and it's very painful. The renal side of things is diabetic neuropathy, kidney damage, end-stage renal disease, or kidney failure. And then there is the vision loss, the macular edema, diabetic retinopathy, which is vision loss, cataracts, glaucoma. And in the foot and leg, you can get diabetic foot ulcers, gangrene, amputation, peripheral vascular disease, and some other complications are cognitive impairment. Now, I'm going to tell you about that cognitive impairment. When I was on here and then I started talking slow because I hadn't ate that day and my sugar levels had dropped too low. That's how you get impaired. You can't think what to say, what to do, and it's just... it's right at being confused, but some people go all the way confused. But thank God I knew what to do for mine, so I went on and ate, and I got better. Other complications: depression, anxiety, erectile dysfunction. I don't have that problem. Some of you men may have that problem. Digestive issues, osteoporosis. I do have osteoporosis. And periodontal disease, I do have the periodontal. Skin condition. You remember I told y'all, my biological dad breath was so bad. Oh, we had never smelled it like that before. It was bad. Skin condition, acne, psoriasis. Prevention and management. Now, this is something that you can do at home, and I do it here too. You can buy the monitors, right, at Walmart or any drugstore. You can buy those monitors, and in some cases, your insurance may pay for the monitoring supplies. So prevention and management is to monitor your blood sugar levels, maintain a healthy diet and exercise habits, manage stress. Stress will give you diabetes. Yeah, you might think all that hollering at the kids or at your old man or old lady is helping you. No, you're ending up with something that can become chronic and fatal over time. If you keep hollering at somebody, you're going to stay sick. Okay? Regular health checkups, adhere to medication regimen, quit smoking. If you smoke, just know that can, play a part in helping you to be diagnosed with diabetes. Limit alcohol. If you drink a lot of alcohol, just know that sugar is what diabetes live on. The more sugar, the more risk you run of having complications. Early detection and treatment can significantly reduce the risk of complications. So don't be afraid to go ahead and get, have your checkups and things. I'm glad I did. I'm glad that the medication finally started helping me, Mounjaro, because I can tell a difference now. I can see the difference now. It's like that first week when I started taking Mounjaro, and this ain't no Mounjaro commercial, or it's not even to advertise it. I'm just here telling you my testimony. And my testimony is I had arm pain all my life because of those fat deposits in my arm and hormone changes and things. And when I started taking the GLP Mounjaro, that was the first thing that started feeling better. I've never had arm relief. Never. I'm saying since I was like 10 years old, my arms have always been in pain and swollen. And I didn't even know about the compression things. So see, I don't know everything. I'm learning too. I didn't even know about the compressions that I could wear to help with a lot of that swelling and things. And now that I know, I'm trying to do better, and I'm trying to share with others. I'm trying to share with others and help them realize that our life is worth living, and we can do better, and we can feel better. But we got to do the right thing by our bodies. I've been sitting here talking this whole time, and this thing has not come on yet for me to cook. And y'all know why. Somebody keeps switching me out. And those of us that are in the church and we do believe in our healing and we know that we are healed, part of healing is acknowledging that there's something going on. How can you be healed if you run around saying, "Nah, I ain't got this, I ain't got that"? It's so many people just gone now because they didn't believe they had it until it was too late. I had an uncle. True story. Uncle ran around for the last 4 or 5 years of his life. "No, I ain't got that. I ain't got that." His diagnosis was cancer. And people kept telling him, "Don't claim it. Don't claim it." Then I had an aunt. She got cancer. She told everybody else not to claim their cancer and don't take treatment for it. But when she got cancer, she went and got treatment. Guess who's dead? Be quiet. I mean, there. All this time, she screamed, don't get treatment for it. Don't take that. Don't take radiation. Don't take chemo. Don't take nothing for it. God got it. But then when she got sick, she ran to the doctor and took the treatment. She got well, and they passed away. You've got to do what helps you to get through. God would not have us ignorant of Satan's devices. And sometimes Satan's devices can be your own family member's mouth. They telling you what not to do, but then they doing it. That can be Satan's devices, a mouthpiece. See, God got mouthpieces and Satan does too. Anything God got, Satan got the imitation version on the other side of his evil workmanship. I think about that a lot. I just really, I had to catch myself there. But I just really think about it a lot. Would my aunts and uncles be here if they had not listened to that voice that was saying, don't do it. Don't do it. But she did it. She got her healing. Here's some scriptures that you can explore if you want to know more in the faith realm of things as believers. Self-care is in 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. Moderation, which will help a lot of these, just eating in moderation can cure diabetes. What we're not told is that exercise is the cure. I read in one book, they said when you get to the place that you can no longer squat, then that's when you know that something is really wrong with your body. Because our body was made to squat. See, back in the days, come on now, there was not commodes. We had to squat. Back in the days, there were not these fancy tables and chairs that you could sit around. You had to sit on the ground or squat. That's why the squats are so important. Because if your body can do that, then you're working every muscle in your body. And not to mention, you're taking the pressure off of those blood vessels. So I'm trying to get back to squatting too, y'all. I started the other day. I couldn't do but 10 up against the door. But hey, when I tell you I did that, and it started helping this Baker cyst in the back of my leg, and I started feeling the blood flow even better in my legs. Okay, healthy habits. The 3rd chapter of John, verses 1 and 2. Healing, Psalms 103, 2 through 3. Matthew 9:35. Faith and prayer, James 5:14 through 15. And those who have been diagnosed with terminal illnesses or chronic illnesses, God is still able. When we suffer with Him, we gain eternal life. We gain. To suffer with God it's an honor. Those who suffer without Him, you see them really suffering. Because I have been in the room where there were people who believed in God and they was in their stage 4 of their cancers and they were just at peace with it. And I have been in the room with them who were at the end of their life, who did not give their life to Christ, and they were just struggling with it. They were struggling with whatever they were going through with their pains. They were struggling with whatever they were going through. And that lets me know that I would rather be on God's side than to be on this evil side where you got to struggle with everything. We all gonna struggle, but how we handle it is different. And that's why I can come on here and talk to y'all today about this diabetes thing. Because fear is what kept me from saying, okay, yeah, it's a possibility that I do got type 2 diabetes. I stayed in denial until I started feeling better. When I started feeling better off the medicine, I was like, well, maybe that is what it was that was hurting me. I mean, I ain't never claimed to be so smart and holier than thou now. But I have made mistakes too. And I just pray that I have not messed up my body because of something, that I learned in church, or something that family and friends came around and said, hey, don't claim it, don't claim it. And then because I didn't claim it, I didn't treat it. Why would you treat something you don't claim? And then when your eyesight start going bad and legs start hurting and feel like pins and you're on pins and needles. So I want you to do something. I want you to have faith in God. But I want you to trust God that He's going to put the right people in your path to treat you. If you can treat your pain, your emotional pain, if you could treat your emotional pain with weed, alcohol, sex, and drugs, then why can't you go get looked at after when you just need a regular checkup? See, people want to treat pains different. But the truth is, you need to know what you have so that you can fight against it. And any preacher that tells you that you don't need help, I mean, there's natural ways to combat diabetes. There's natural ways. And those are the ways I prefer to stick with, is the more natural ways. But if you got an eating disorder, you may need a little help. You just might need that little more help. And I needed that little more help because I got an eating disorder. I ain't got nothing against nobody, but I just learned how to eat like this, and now I got to unlearn it. And my pain did not come on, but that's what I had to say. And I thought I was going to be eating by now. And I'm not. All right, y'all go have a great day. Share this out with somebody. Tell them. If you hear somebody constantly complaining all the time about they got back pains or leg pains and they rubbing their legs all the time trying to help her with the pain, going out here buying all these rubs and herbs and just trying to smoke and drink their pain away, tell them to go see the doctor and see what the doctor has to say. At least get some idea of what your overall health is right now. Some people are in poor health. Some people are in mild health. Some people are in chronic conditions, while others may be perfectly fine. But you'll never know until you at least go see about yourself. My mama used to tell us, get up and go see about yourself. I know what she meant now. See, the things we took for granted when we were younger, I see now. I do. I see now. Now that's me telling my kids and grandkids to go do that. Because back when I was younger, I did not care to see no doctors. Especially after that long stay in the hospital after I had my daughter. Man. And when you get well physically, your mental will improve too. Your mental health, your self-esteem, your self-image, all that is going to improve once you start getting well. Some people got depression and anxiety because they got diabetes and don't even know it. And they think they just stopped giving up on life just because nobody wanted to be around them. But did you ever think that when your health is failing, you can't even muster up the energy to go and do the things you love or sit around the people you want to hang around? because your health is deteriorating. And if you don't do something about it, then yeah, you're going to go into depressions, anxieties. Because that pain don't discriminate. It does not discriminate. So if you want to get your mental health right, you start working from the inside out. First part you start working with is your relationship with God. Get your heart right on the inside. Ask for forgiveness. Repent. And whatever's behind you, that's just back there. If God wants you to work on that, what's behind you, He will let you know. Then you start finding you a good doctor. And you may not be able to afford. Some people don't do nothing because they can't afford it. Look around in your area for places who offer, free health screenings. Most community outlets or outreaches, they sometimes do offer those free screenings. And if you have a condition, they will sometimes give you enough medicine to hold you until you can afford to get some more. There are social services offices that will pay for your medicine. It might be one time. They have an allowance that they can give you for the entire year to help pay for your medication. So it's no excuse why you can't do it. There's somebody out here who has a program that you can use until you can do better. When I was working, I didn't have good insurance, because that insurance was high. But I remember when I first got laid off from work, I did not have no medical insurance. I had to go to social service for 6 months to get them to pay for my medications that I was on. It meant every month I had to go up there and fill out a paper, but I did it. That's what it meant, that I had to fill out a paper every month. But I got my medicine. And I got help with other things. Okay, y'all, I gotta go. I gotta find me something to eat. Because I am not finna let my sugar drop. Peace, love, and happiness. Y'all go ahead.